how should I architect my cloud app that uses AI?
Well, I work with Google Cloud customers and I've seen what works and what doesn't. So let me show you.
Welcome to the show, Esther. What do you do here at Google?
It's so good to be here. Thank you. I'm a customer engineer in the London office, and my job is to help customers build modern apps with the power of serverless and AI. But before Google, I worked in consulting and app development and quality control. I even became a bit of an expert in testing to the point where people often refer to me as Esther the tester.
I love that. So it sounds like you enjoy making things work together.
Yeah, that's right. And it becomes easier when you go serverless. Using Firebase platform, Cloud Run, Gemini Enterprise Agent platform, and the Google Cloud serverless ecosystem.
Yeah, I really like combining Firebase and regular Google Cloud in my apps, and AI agents, of course. But I'm not sure I'm putting them together in the best way.
Yeah, well, I do that with my customers all the time. So let's have a look at an architecture that works well.
Let's do it.
So to bring this to life, and because I've been working with a few finance customers lately, I will create a cloud and AI architecture based on the fictitious company called Cymbal Finance. Their customers will buy and sell stocks and mutual funds in a mobile app.
Okay, how will that work?
So they have a really tall order. They need a single code base for iOS and Android. They need protection of their APIs from attackers, and the flexibility to use the latest AI models all without vendor lock-in. Now, on top of that, they want operational efficiency, so they can focus on customer features and not managing their infrastructure.
That's a lot, Esther. How do you even start building that?
We just take things one thing at a time. So the goal is to have a single mobile app that customers will use. So, of course, Flutter gives them a single code base for their Android and iOS apps. Flutter also makes it easy to connect to their backend services.
And how do you mean easy to connect to their backend services?
Yeah, so Cymbal Finance's users should be able to see a summary report of how their stocks are going. This report will be summarized by Gemini based on the user's portfolio. The mobile developers at Cymbal Finance can then call the Gemini API right from the client on the mobile app by using the Firebase AI Logic SDK for Dart and Flutter.
Okay, and you said Gemini here. Now, I like Gemini models, but I might want other models for certain use cases.
Yeah, and also Cymbal Finance does want a choice of models, whether they're from Google or our partners and third parties like Anthropic, or even custom models that they build themselves. Now, through Model Garden, they can access Google's Gemini, Anthropic's Claude, and other open source models all in one place using a single API. This means that they're not locked into any one provider as the models evolve.
I like freedom of choice. Now, how would they protect themselves against unauthorized access here?
Yeah, so they can enable model armor to prevent prompt injection, sensitive data leaks, and any harmful content. Now, if they combine it with Firebase App Check as well, then they can attest that the requests to the model are only made from their mobile app, running on an untampered device, and not from an attacker.
Right. Security is important when we're talking about finance. Now, how would they authenticate their users?
Firebase authentication with Identity Platform gives them that. So Identity Platform handles customer login with popular identity providers like single sign-on with Google, Facebook, Apple, and now even phone number verification in certain countries. It also comes with a 99.95% uptime SLA.
Very nice.
Yeah, but not only that, Firebase platform also has useful services. If the Cymbal Finance developers want to track and fix app crashes, then they can activate Crashlytics. If they also want to detect and fix app latency, then maybe they could turn on Firebase performance monitoring. And also, if they want to update their settings in a mobile app without having to deploy a new version and get it approved in the Play Store, remote config can do that for them.
Got it. That does sound useful. I guess Cymbal Finance would also want to alert users when particular stocks in their portfolio go up or drop suddenly.
Yeah, I actually wish my bank did that. But for that, they could look at using Firebase Cloud Messaging.
So Cymbal Finance will use a lot of Firebase in their mobile app. Will they have any server-side code at all?
Definitely. Firebase works as a backend for a front-end absolutely beautifully. But for heavy lifting like stock trades and connecting to legacy banking systems, we need a back-of-house power of Google Cloud. To cleanly separate the front-end and back-end logic, Cymbal Finance chooses Google Apogee to act as that unified entry point for all their backends. It also helps them design, secure, and monitor and scale their APIs.
Got it. Now, when a user wants to buy a stock, Cymbal Finance needs to validate that order server-side. Where does that happen?
So far on our journey, Cymbal Finance has picked managed services that don't require any server maintenance. They want to continue that way. So they should pick Cloud Run for server-side logic, like validating orders. Now, Cloud Run functions also now support Dart. So if they want to run full stack Dart with their Flutter app, they can.
I know Cloud Run and I use it all the time. It's far less work than managing a fleet of Linux servers. And how do they keep an eye on all these different moving parts?
Yeah, so that's the final piece of the puzzle, observability. Nearly all the services we talked about today export their logs to Cloud Operations Suite and Google Cloud. That way, Cymbal gets a unified view. They can track Cloud Run errors, they can look at API latency, and even model performance, all in one place to catch the issues before the users do.
All right. It was really interesting to hear about what cloud architectures corporations actually use for their AI applications. There were a lot of details, and I'm not sure I remember them all. What are the takeaways, Esther?
Yeah, so when customers ask me to help design a cloud architecture, I focus on 3 pillars. First, verified AI and API security. Use Firebase Author for identity platform, Model Armor, Fiji, and Firebase App Check to make sure that only your user and only your app can talk to your models and APIs and that your backends are protected. Second, model flexibility. Use Agent Platform Model Garden so you can pick the best model, whether that's Gemini or Claude. And third, serverless speed and scale, combining Firebase Platform and Cloud Run so you can scale up without ever touching a server configuration.
That's good stuff. I like how customers combine Firebase and Google Cloud.
Yeah, and remember, Firebase makes it easy to build AI applications with Flutter. And please also remember that every Firebase project is a Google Cloud project.
Yes, indeed. How can viewers get started?
So there are 2 options. If you prefer reading, there's a really good article about deploying and operating generative AI applications. But if you want to jump in and start building, you can use Google Cloud and Firebase skills with your favorite agentic coding harness. Or you can use the complementary MCP servers to help make your agent an expert in Flutter and Firebase.
That's good stuff. I will add those links to the video description. Thank you for joining me today, Esther.
Thank you so much for having me, Martin.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. If you have any questions for Esther or me, please add them in the comments below. Also, I'd love to hear if this episode was useful to you. I read every single comment. Now go build something amazing.